Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. And hey, welcome to February.
February is upon us.
Yes.
We got some snow.
We got some snow. It's cold.
We got January weather in February.
Yeah,
It's
finally.
going to come eventually, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I don't mind winter.
It was one of those Widowmaker snowfalls last week.
Yeah, it was
That
bad.
was heavy.
It was heavy. Shoveling was a joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah,
my first.
right.
Well, okay. I haven't had a snowblower in a couple of years, and I cannot get myself to go out and buy a new one because we haven't had a decent winter.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you know,
Where
I
you
got
really
a
need
heavy
one.
winter where we need one until this last
Right.
snowfall. So I picked up my dad's and
Yeah.
knocked
Why
it
not
out.
borrow Dad's?
Yeah.
Sort
Hey.
of like a boat. It's better to use someone else's than to have one yourself.
Exactly. And when it's my dad's, it's like it's freshly tuned up and gassed up,
Ready to
and
go.
cleaned and everything. So, but he's retired, so he has the time to do
That's
that,
right.
You know,
He's got the time to
that's
do
one
it.
thing I noticed that as you age, for men, the mix on your gases becomes more and more precise. Everything is labeled. That's 50 to 1. That's 32 to 1. That's
Yeah,
5 to 1.
You're not using 32 to 1 for everything.
Yeah, no,
right? I got
sometimes I'm mixing right into the machine. So anyway, hey, we got to talk about the market, and we got to talk about January. You do a recap?
Yeah.
Want to do a recap on the numbers for January?
So, at the end of every month, try and get a feel for what's going on. 2020, when we started the year, we had no clue that we were going to have COVID. We would have thought COVID would have destroyed the market, and it accelerated. And January numbers have proven that it's still continuing to accelerate. So for the county, year over year, now again, these numbers, and I'll do the statistical thing. It always sounds bigger when we don't have a huge sample size.
Mm-hmm.
So for the county, there were 64 properties sold in the month of January compared to 51 sold in 2020.
Wow.
That's a 25% increase.
Yeah.
So if I'd have just said, well, there was a 25% increase in sales, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Well, I mean, it's, 13 homes, but it's significant.
Mm-hmm.
The volume sold was up 102%. 102%. Now, that's for the whole county. And I've done a little bit of analysis on there. There were some pretty high dollar lake homes, about 20 homes over 400,000 that sold in the county that I'm guessing are lake homes.
Okay.
That were between 400,000 and up.
So that could easily skew the numbers high.
Yeah, when we've got a small sample size like this, when you're talking 60 homes sold and 20 of them are really high, because the average sales price last year was 172,000 for the county, and this year it's 277.
Definitely lake homes.
So higher dollar
higher
homes. It
end
might be
homes.
homes with acreage.
Yeah.
Some 20 acres. A nice 4,000 square foot house on 20 acres. Newer construction, but the bottom line, things are still accelerating. So the interesting piece is looking at Warsaw itself, so that 46580 zip code that we always use, and part of the reason for that is to pull the lake stuff out.
Okay.
Year over year change is 0. 2020 we sold 20 in the month of January.
Yeah.
2021 we sold 20 in the month of January.
Not slowing down at all.
Not slowing down at all. The difference, though, the average sales price went up, and again, part of that is because there were some higher dollar homes that sold in 46580. So the volume sold was up 28%. The average price was up 28%. So prices have increased year over year. Now, again, it's a real small sample size, 20 units. It doesn't take a lot to skew that number up. But the reality for buyers is to understand the market, and that's why we're having the discussion. Prices aren't going down, they're going up.
Yeah.
They're going up.
They continue to
They
go up.
continue to go up. And, that is going to be a problem. And if you listen to our last few shows, the last few shows of 2020, affordability, and inventory are the key pieces. There just is not, there's not enough inventory to keep up with the demand that's out there. And where's the demand coming from? Low interest rates, although they have ticked up just a tad, but they're still below 3% for a 30-year fixed loan. Outrageously, affordable on the interest rate. But inventory is still going to be the story of this year, inventory and affordability.
And we've talked about COVID, and I mean, COVID does affect the housing market. And we thought that COVID was going to slow down the housing market, but actually, with more people working at home, more people, people are thinking, hey, if we're going to be here, if we're going to be stuck here, at least let's make the best of it.
Sure.
Let's have something nice or whatever. And you said that you've talked to a lot of clients that are looking for a bigger home because they need the extra bedroom for an office, or since the kids are doing school from home. So people are like settling in on this whole pandemic that we're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, I think it's fundamentally changed again, as long as it will last, because we go through these shifts in the housing market. I mean, every couple of years things turn over. But I went out to my wife and I went out to dinner with some friends the other day, and the husband has been working from home for over a year, and he said, this is tough. He works for a local orthopedic company, and he's been at home for a year. He said it's really difficult, to deal with this. And we got into the mental discussion. None of us are psychologists, but just the thought of human interaction is a good thing. To go out and do what we're doing, you get energized when you talk to people.
Yeah.
Well, but if you're sitting at your house, if you're on a Zoom meeting for work, whether you get up and get dressed and get showered or whatever, maybe you only do it top up, make sure you don't walk away, right? So you end up on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
But, it's just changed fundamentally how we're doing business or how people are working. This work from home has changed the housing market and it's changed industry. We've adapted.
Well, I heard a stat today, and Roger, you'll appreciate this. I heard a stat today that the betting on the Super Bowl is going to be down 60%. Now, there's two things to think about here. The main reason why betting on the Super Bowl is down 60% is because normally those bets are in office pools where they do the squares and all that stuff.
Sure.
And Roger, how many times have we done that? Have we done that here?
Lots of times.
Lots of times out in our sales department. That's where all those gatherings take place.
Yeah.
And that's nobody's out there right now.
Interesting.
Okay, but and then on the flip side, you got all these like new apps, FanDuel, and all these.
Right.
So that's taking it up, and now it's legal for Indiana.
Yeah.
So that's taking it up a little bit. That's like up 60%, but But it's, so things have changed.
They have changed, absolutely.
Yep. So all right. So we're going to talk more about how it's a seller's market. Coming up here next, you're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Welcome back. This is Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skobowski of RE/MAX Lakes. And wrapping up the January numbers for the market. Market is still hot.
Market is still really hot. And, when we do this show, it's, hopefully informative. It's got information just not on market conditions, but maybe some recommendations if you're in the market, whether you're buying or selling, for some things that we've experienced, ways to win the battle, ways to win a multiple offer situation, things like that. So when you're in a seller's market, it's totally different than in a buyer's. Now, we've been in a seller's market for a while.
Yeah.
So, we've been singing the same song for a couple of years. But the fact is, you can't try to negotiate like Grandma and Grandpa used to negotiate. It's just not there. When things come on the market and the average days on market for the county for the month of January were 31 days on average for the county.
Yeah.
31 days on average. So that tells you that homes are not staying on the market very long. They come on and they've got multiple offers and they're accepted and go. Before we came on, we were talking, I told you there was a property that was listed on Tippy this past week. It came on at $619,000. Now that's a big dollar home.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the average buyer, but a lake buyer, $600,000 on Tippy. It's probably in the price range. It was a lot of decent square footage, good lake frontage. They had multiple offers on that property in a heartbeat.
Wow.
It came on and they accepted one very quickly. I have no idea. I can't tell you because I don't know what it was accepted at.
Yeah.
But to see that when you're still seeing multiple offers on homes in the $600,000 price range, the market is definitely hot. Now again, that's lake. It's a little bit different than standard residential, but we're seeing the same thing in residential. There was a property that was listed in Park Ridge. More, the standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah.
Came on at $215,000. It was like a revolving door looking through that house. So from an agent's perspective, I see that. So we're trying to advise clients. don't be crazy if you want to move. The biggest thing is, what's my standard theme? Be prepared. You need to have a pre-approval. Do not call to go look at houses just because you'd like to go look, because the reality is it's not going to be there. You're not going to, or if you fall in love with it, you're not going to be able to buy it if you're not pre-approved.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. When you submit an offer, you're submitting a pre-approval. The sellers expect that. If you don't submit with a pre-approval, makes no sense to do it. I had somebody that I've worked with in the past, they were looking at buying an investment property. Wanted to look at something. I showed it to him. I know they can afford it. He said, hey, I want to write an offer. I said, have you got the pre-approval? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you really need to have a pre-approval. We've done it in the past, but we need a pre-approval that's current so you can submit, because the seller expects it.
Right.
You're thrown away if you don't look at it. I mean, I guess that's not legit. Sellers aren't going to throw it away, but they're unlikely to accept yours if they've got one with a pre-approval.
Right.
So put yourself in the best position to buy. Be prepared. Have that pre-approval. And when you write an offer on a brand new listing, you're not going to be able to beat them up on price. When the example I use is the seller didn't go to sleep and wake up the next day and say, oh, my house is worth $10,000 less today because Joe or Billy Bob wrote an offer on it. You know what I mean? They've got a value in their mind. If they've got multiple offers, it's unlikely you're going to negotiate.
Well, chances are they did the comps, they did their homework in pricing it.
Yes.
So they're not going to come off of that, considering that most of the houses are the whole process is done in 31 days.
They're selling pretty quickly. So again, advice to buyers: be pre-approved and put your best offer on the table first.
Okay.
Don't expect a counteroffer. Don't expect, hey, they love me, they're gonna come back to me, because there's probably 2 or 3 other yous in line waiting to buy that house, and they've got other offers to choose from. So, make yourself the best offer that you possibly can, put it together to where you could walk away if you didn't get it and say, you know what, I missed that because I did my best. I wrote the best offer that I felt for this particular property. And I get the other thing behind that is, don't wait. Don't go home and think about it for, a week and decide.
Because it's probably going to be gone.
It's probably going to be gone, and if you really want it, be ready to move and move on it. Don't hesitate.
But even for the guys that are in the market, that are buying the investment properties or whatever, you got to look at like every opportunity like this and every situation as a learning experience.
Yes.
Because the market is always changing.
Right. It is.
And we keep saying the pendulum is going to swing. It's going to be a balanced market.
Yeah.
It's going to be a buyer's market.
Right.
But it's
we haven't seen that yet, and it's hard to predict.
It is.
It's hard to predict, but
the
these
weather.
stats will help us with that.
Yeah.
The stats and working with an agent will help somebody figure that out.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thanks for all the information there, Mark. I can't believe the seller's market continues, but it most certainly does.
It certainly
Very good.
is.
All right. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.